Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back. Okay, welcome back to Live from the Heartland for the week of November 2nd in the year 2024. And my next guest is someone I'm really honored to have on the show. He's a longtime native of Milwaukee, a longtime labor leader, was the head of the AFL-CIO Milwaukee Labor Council. He's done a lot of work, including bringing people to the polls with Souls to the Polls. The one and only Bruce Colburn. Good morning to you, Bruce.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. And I'm so glad that our producer, Lynn Orman, somehow found you and suggested that we have you on. We've been having Katie Hogan, who's been involved with the show from its beginning, giving us reports on her trips up to Wisconsin and to Michigan. I had a good friend, Paul Draus, from University of Michigan, Dearborn, last week talking about what's going on in Michigan. How about you tell us what you see going on in Wisconsin around this election that is right in our face?
Yeah, we're doing everything possible, everything we can, every day, every night. We have a lot of people out working, and we, everybody is, ready to go. And, we feel like we've done a lot of work and we're finishing up with a lot of head of steam. But every minute counts. And I think the people in Wisconsin feel they have a responsibility to the people all over the country, because we know that there's at least 3 spots that we need to win. And so even though we're nonprofit and all that sort of stuff, but we know that has to happen. And so we're all out for it, and just glad to be here.
Bruce, what's your gut feeling about how things are going? We see the polls, which a lot of people say you don't want to put too much faith in the polls or trust in the polls. We see Wisconsin, the Democrats are a few points ahead. Then it's kind of even, depends who you see. You're on the ground every day up there. What's your sense of where people are at?
I think we have a very split area. And I don't know how much people know about Wisconsin, but we have an area that has, a lot of working people and a lot of people of color and a lot of students and a lot of areas like that are full out. And I think people are doing everything that they can. And like Madison, Milwaukee, etc. We have an area upstate that's a question mark and has been sometimes in areas that we can be able to touch. But that's going to be part of the question over the next few days when we get the results. But we're really, working completely, like I said, every day, every night. And what we try to do is, in terms of Souls to the Polls, you want me to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd love for you to talk about Souls to the Polls.
So Souls to the Polls had we started about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, started with nothing really. And it was sort of my retirement that I never got out of. But we started and basically we decided that the most important thing that we have is our people, that there's nothing more important. It's not about the great orators and the great people. It's really about how do we move people? How do we move ordinary, regular people, and especially focused in the Black community? And what we did is we started with issues, and we started, how do they improve their communities? Because Milwaukee and some surrounding areas, and then as we got farther, just have had a death of trouble and, been hurt. because of what's happened in the city and what's happened in terms of jobs going away and that sort of thing. And so we decided we've got to start with that group of people. And so what we did is we started something called Souls to the Polls. And we started with reverends. And we figured, well, reverends are good people. They're interested in their people. They see what happens to them every day. And we started with that in terms of, them getting involved in issues. And first we talked about housing. And housing just is a disaster in Wisconsin. And, took on that issue. Then we expanded, and took on other issues of low-wage workers. And again, the key was bringing forward people. It's not about the experts and not about the people who are getting on the front end of things. It's really about, can you move people? So after that, we then obviously understood that one of the important thing, and only one of the important things, is voting. And obviously, then we came about after doing this for about 2 or 3 rounds. We obviously came about this election. And there's no doubt that this is the biggest election. I've been working at this 55 years, and there's no election that's been more important than this one. And again, we want to do it how we come out stronger at the end. We don't want to just have an election and then we're back to regular things. Even if the better people win, we still have to be stronger than before. And so we then started, in terms of did that in terms of reverence and in their areas, their communities. We then expanded to the issue of young people, and there's just no getting around it. And we have a problem with that. In terms of young people who are not especially interested in this election, and especially the young people, who have not had much success or have been really riddled by what's happened in the economy and everything like that. And so we took on a place called MATC, which is a massive 44,000 students, and they're all just about all low income students who are trying to get above training and everything like that, and went completely into that. And so we, went into that, and we've been doing that for the last 5 months. Again, trying to get them, leaders. We have 15 leaders that we built, and they're doing that all over. There's 4 different places over the community. And again, trying to and we've had good success just in terms of the last, we're in the state of situation where we have early voting. And we've had great results in terms of, even surprising, many of us in terms of the number of new people who've now come out to vote. And so we get statistics every day, and so we feel like we really hit something there. And so, that's the kind of thing we want. We want something that, again, wins this time, the people have their say-so, but also continues, right from the day that we end this election, to continuing to, because if we just let it go, we'll be in the same situation 5 years, 4 years from now.
Well, I really like hearing about that. That's inspirational. And I particularly like the part about no matter what happens, so we keep going, and we've got people who are being organized, and that's what you're doing, is really doing serious community organizing and getting people involved, not only for the short range, but the long range. We got a couple minutes left, Bruce, and I'm glad to get to meet you, and I hope I meet you in person one of these days. Let me ask you, for the closing moments, can you talk a little bit about what you see with the role of labor and the labor movement, not only in Milwaukee, but beyond? We had the Teamsters take a position that we didn't really like. We had Teamster locals reverse that, and we're definitely in for Harris. What's your sense as a longtime labor activist and leader in Milwaukee?
Well, I think we can't hide anything, and we have to, regroup. We've done a lot of work in labor on lower income workers. And we've had some breakthroughs in terms of, people in terms of jobs that are lower worker jobs, because again, Milwaukee and Wisconsin have always been high income labor type jobs, and they're just not there anymore. So I think we've started to do that in terms of to rebuild the labor movement, but we got to be serious about ourselves. We're just starting. If you want to, be true about it, and we have to rebuild from the bottom up. And we've had some successes with people joining unions in terms of that and through these elections, but just generally trying to better themselves. And I think we have to redouble our efforts to do that. And it's not the same labor union that I started with. When I worked at a factory, I worked at all these kind of places. It's much more of a different thing. And I think we just have to dig in and improve on what we've done and started already.
Well, we're really glad you're involved up there. You're quite a guy, and I really, I'm glad you came on live from the Heartland, and I will meet you in person one of these days. And keep up the good work for the next few days.
Yeah, love to talk to you anytime. And if anybody has any interest, we're always open, and we're ready to go to win this a good election and then go forward. So thank you very much for all the work that you do.
Okay, brother.